Okay, so this picture, in kindergarten in Ukraine, they pick one girl to be like the Snow White kind of. Mm-hmm. That's, you know, the princess next to the snowman. And so I was picked to be the Snow White. And it was funny because that particular, I think, show event at the kindergarten, I was just sitting like, you know, I just sat down, my legs were kind of spread apart, and my mom is sitting like across, and it's a little, you know, skirt dress, and my mom's like, put your legs together, put your legs together. I was like, I'm like 5, I don't know, like I didn't know what that meant. I was like, what do you mean? I'm just sitting comfortably. Why are you like trying to change it up? It was really cute.
Oh, that's so adorable. I love it. Next picture.
Burning Man. So Burning Man is my home, my heart. Burning Man showed me what could be, what will be, what is possible with human people, with humanity in general. Mm-hmm. A lot of the ethos and a lot of things that I'm incorporating in Church of Music comes from Burning Man. Mm-hmm. So Burning Man is a culture of radical expression, radical self-reliance, radical community, radical gifting, just all the things that are so important and so loved, and just those are my 10 commandments. It's now 11 for us. Those are the things that I think will change the world and show the world what can be, because Burning Man basically runs with 100,000 people, strangers, coming from all over the world, creating a city on the flat bed of desert mm-hmm. in 1 week. And they create the most magical things you can, anything you can think
I've never been.
Anything you can imagine shows up there and beyond. And it's meant to stimulate your mind, your body, your soul. It changes. You know, before I went to Burning Man, I did 7 years of research on it. Wow. I talked to everyone that has ever been. And literally when people would ask about Burning Man, I would just tell them about it. They're like, you've been? I'm like, I've never been.
You want to be prepared, right?
But I felt like I have. And the first year I went, I was in shock, literally. I just got there and I was like,
was it close to what you had done? Nothing like it?
Nothing. And that's the thing. It's like, it's nothing you can prepare yourself for. It's nothing you can describe. It's nothing you can think of. You have to go. You have to go and experience it. So when I went, I'm like, you know, it's really unfortunate that this only happens once a year at this one place for only 100,000 people. The world needs to experience this. The world should see this. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, one day maybe I can create like a Burning Man in the real world. Oh. Church of Music. And it's funny because so many people, without me saying anything, so many people will come up to me like, Alina, I feel like I'm at the burn. Alina, like, I feel like this is Burning Man. Alina, like all these things. I'm like, oh my God, that's like so my heart. Yeah. So that's for me, Church of Music, the creative component of it is combining Burning Man, Cirque du Soleil, symphony, the classical piece of meat with electronic music, with ballet, with culture, with art. So just merging, so it becomes an experience rather than just DJ standing there, you know, like. Yeah, of course. I want to give more than that. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. And the next one.
So I was just walking in Little Italy, and I was working on my startup, my first startup. And there was this lady with a bunch of chickens. And I was like, can I hold your chicken? She's like, absolutely. And so I pick up this chicken, and the chicken literally just jumped up on my thing. He's like, all right, cool, we're chilling. And so it was just a beautiful time, and just my love for animals.
I love that. That's super cute. You look like you're having a blast.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Who is she? Damn.
That was actually on my friend's, for my friend's birthday. She invited me to go on her friend's yacht, and I actually DJ'd on that yacht. And then later on, this picture was used as my first
West Coast Weekender.
That's right. You did your research. This woman is amazing. That was the first gig I ever got for DJing, and it was because a friend of mine, a friend of a friend that basically taught me how to DJ, recommended me to this guy who now I love, and he's like my angel, Thomas. And Thomas is he's incredible. He's another person you should have in your show. And Thomas is like, hey, he never even heard my sets, nothing, you know, a friend of mine just sent him like a bleep of what I do. And he's like, do you want to come and play with me for yoga at West Coast Weekender? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I show up to West Coast Weekender, and I'm like, there's two stages, the huge one and the little one. So I go to the little one, and I'm like, So when do I start? They're like, you're on the other stage. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, you're over there. My first gig is on a huge stage with an insane sound system, and I'm playing with a trumpet, the drummer, and we had somebody else. I think it was like a saxophone player or something. And then me DJing for like 150 people that are like in the audience. Amazing. And I was basically the opener for the whole weekend. And I was like, OMG.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm like, I feel it. Let's go.
I was actually there too. They had me there. That was the first time that I led a panel discussion.
Wow. How cool.
That was really awesome because I had pretty much interviewed all the founders of West Coast Weekender.
Wow.
And they knew that I do this, and I was part of the panel discussion. That was a really good experience.
So awesome.
Yeah, look at us. That was our first.
Hey.
Bad bitches only. And last but not least.
So this is actually from probably 5th or 6th time of me running Church of Music. So this is us still being on the grass in Gliderport, and a friend of mine was like, hey, can we come and record you? We're featuring different artists. It was actually Harrison with House of Sunsets.
Oh, nice.
And they were like, hey, we're recording different artists and featuring different artists. We want to come and, record you while you DJ. I'm like, yeah, sure, come. So they came and showed up, and then they took some photos, and they did like a live stream for me or something. I don't know.
That's beautiful.
That was like, a couple months into me doing Church of Music, and I was like just flying on high, and everybody was like, who is this chick and what is she on? I'm like, air and music.
High of life, okay?
Join me. It's all possible.
I love that. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing all these stories.